In the R&B system, heartbreak isn't just an emotion. It's Exhibit A. Classic albums once revered as timeless can become cold cases.
Two dedicated investigators, T and Reg, reopened these cases as members of an elite squad known as the Special R&B Unit.
Scrutinize every silky harmony, soul-stopping vocal run, and diva anthem to decide if each record still holds up or belongs in the clearance bin. These are their stories.
Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I am Taurian B.
We have a special guest in the building with us. Do we still call him Q-Matic?
Yes. That's never going nowhere. Q-Matic with the baby hairs laid down.
Yeah. Oh, we get a what up though? That's great.
Yeah, what up,
I
though?
don't know how the Knicks feel about that.
Nah, man, it's me trolling. I'm trolling.
Oh,
Knicks
I
and
forgot. I forgot we got a little rivalry going on in here.
Yeah, nah, we're gonna go with Pistons and 6 on that.
I respect it.
Yeah. But
Okay.
thank you for joining us, Quincy.
Of course. Anytime, man.
Yeah, how's everything? How's everybody doing?
Everything is good, man. I'm here. You know, we haven't gotten to talk about a while. You were in Cameroon.
Yeah, man.
How was that trip, man?
For 2 weeks, man. It was cool. The flight there, it's about 17 hours. So I watched a lot of movies.
I'm shocked because I think you could do it. I think you could sleep 17 hours. You a sleepy ass nigga.
I do like to sleep, but no, I didn't sleep the whole time.
Okay.
Sleeping on a plane is not the most comfortable. I mean, unless you got that money and you in business class or something. But so I took the time to watch a lot of movies. I think I told you that I revisit Seven.
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Classic movie. Did you watch it again? You said you would.
I did not. I'm gonna watch it tonight though.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so fucking. Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen the movie.
It's a masterclass.
I heard.
I watched a lot of Morgan Freeman movies on that flight, low key.
Because I found out what happened to Morgan Freeman's hand, it made me go back to see where it started.
Oh, where did it start?
What happened with his hand?
He had a really bad car accident, and he over time he's been losing the ability to use his right hand.
Yeah. So if you notice, when he makes public appearances, he always wears a glove.
So it's like, so if you watch the Christian Bale Batmans, you notice that like that arm is always like down, and if he's sitting down at a table, it just looks like a dead hand. But then eventually over time he started wearing like this black glove to help the circulation, because like his hand, he can still do certain things with his hand, but over time he loses more and more feeling in it. So now it's to the point where he just wears a black glove over it and lioness, and like you just see the hand just like it just be taped to his chest, and he just be doing shit.
That's good.
Yeah. So but yeah. So overall, the trip was great. I stayed with my uncle out there. He has like some type of, I wouldn't say rivalry, but him and my aunt were beefing at some point during the trip, and they live around the corner.
They definitely have a rivalry.
Yeah, they live around the corner from each other. So like the whole time I was there, I was between their houses, just like, just walking around and shit. But he just wouldn't go over there. Like he's
I love
doing
it.
his own thing.
I love that family beef. It don't matter where you at.
Yeah, he just wouldn't go over there. I thought that was funny. And then one day we had a party for one of my other aunts because she hasn't been to Cameroon in like 10 years. So my auntie Pat like got all of her other friends together to throw her like a surprise party, and it was dope. We had a lot of good food, a lot of people I ain't seen in years. While I was out there, I visited my father is buried out there, so went to go visit his gravesite, which I always do out there. Every time I go out there, it's like it's kind of just, I get this rush of memories from when I was a kid. So
That's dope.
It's fly, and now I'm building that on top of like adulthood memories and shit. So
that's fire, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make that trip with you one of these days.
Yeah, man, you're more than welcome, bro.
Go out there, man. You know, they definitely gonna call me a stupid American. It's gonna be... So moving along. Recently, I saw this viral thing that was going online, right? And I like this. I want to keep this short because, like, we just talking. But did you guys see the viral mixtape Mount Rushmore? And it has Wayne, Future, Currency, and Gucci Mane. Like those are the four people.
Future, Currency, and Gucci.
Yeah. On the viral Mount Rushmore. So I mean, so for some people, especially Southern people, they always make the statement like they ain't hear 50 Cent early on, they didn't hear Cameron early on, or they weren't a fan of Fabulous or Jadakiss. Like those are the artists that they fuck with. But I think personally down south, that is just more of, because a lot of them like have that old school mentality of like selling tapes out the trunk and like things being passed along, and they like move, like certain things like move slower for them. I don't think that they realized where the influence of mixtapes came from, but like they just knew like what they had, and those artists were rapping about things that were familiar to them.
Right.
But you know, like for me, like I wouldn't, like, even though I love Currency, I would probably like replace like 50 Cent with Currency. I would put 50 Cent in Currency's place on that. Obviously Wayne stays. Gucci Mane, like he did do a lot for mixtapes, and so did Future. I mean, but I could probably make an argument to get Cam on the rapper Mount Rushmore mixtapes as well. But I'm not mad at Currency. Was the only one where I was like, I kind of sort of think 50 should be there.
I can agree with that, but I kind of would want to put Fab over 50.
You want to put Fab over 50?
Yeah, for that mixtape run. And I'm not even the biggest Fab fan, but I just recognize like what he did for his mixtape run, and in that time frame, they were kind of their timelines kind of blend. Right?
Okay, it was.
Yeah. So like Fab with Fabulous Sport, you know, when he had that name.
Okay, so no, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, and I want to apologize because as a brother, I love you. Are you including? So you're talking about Fabulous's Meteoric Rise doing Clue mixtape freestyles, and talking about his full length projects encompassing that. So are you
full length project? Well, no,
full length mixtape. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about his full length mixtape projects.
Yeah.
So like that's where you're coming with it at, because I guess for me, 50 kind of like changed the format of like, you know, basically jack up a beats and making it full, like taking on songs opposed to just freestyling over other people's songs. He actually took their songs and flipped it and like made it other songs, to the point where he was able to go on tour, and like people were thinking that they were actually his songs, or like singing his version. Right. So that's why I give 50 more credit than Fab. Like, yes, Fab, he was on the Clue mixtapes. We always like, usually if he had a freestyle, I always went to his freestyle first on Clue mixtapes. And the hair, like the guy laughing or whatever like that. But I kind of give 50 that nod, because I feel like with a lot of all the artists that were on that Mount Rushmore that we see, they took 50's blueprint for what he did with mixtape projects.
So then let's look at the structure of Mount Rushmore in general.
Mount Rushmore,
these are like the forefathers, right?
If it's the forefathers, and 50 is absolutely on that list of mixtapes.
Yeah,
he would.
Okay,
he would be on that list. He would be on it.
So then I'm thinking of like in a sacrificing type format, because would you put 50 over Wayne? In that case, technically, he would have to go over Wayne.
No, him and Wayne would be this, and like in the same boat, in my opinion.
Yeah, but again, if we talk about the forefathers, right?
Wait, we're talking about the four. Why does 50 and Wayne have to go? Why wouldn't it be Currency and 50? Because
I'm just breaking it down. structurally for like what a Mount Rushmore is.
So you
like the people that did it first.
Of the people that did it first, right? So it would be 50 and Wayne would be the two pillars.
But technically 50 did it first of the format that Wayne ran with.
You just want to be difficult. But what I'm telling you is that if it was the forefathers. So
this is what I'm saying. So 50, I would put 50 there for being like the first one, right? And then I said Fab because, and the reason why I was kind of discrediting 50 a little bit was because, you know, you can name 50 Cent as the future, but I think he gets a lot of the credit because of just the G Unit stuff of like flooding the market with like songs and banks and shit like that. So yeah, he's there for structure, but outside of 50 Cent as the future, what other mixtape project does he have that you hold up there that you will put him?
Guess who's back?
All of those.
The G Unit radio mixtapes. Like, I understand that, like, when Fab came around later on, like, he had like a run. And I'm not even saying Fab don't belong. I just want to understand, why are you pitting 50 against Lil Wayne of all the people that you can name? That's my problem. But we do gotta move along.
I just think the structure of Mount Rushmore gets muddy.
Okay, so you take Wayne off.
I think if I want to stick to the technical aspect of a Mount Rushmore
and leave Currency on, I would leave Wayne on, but I do think 50 would come first.
Yeah.
But they both are on. Only me personally, I feel like because of where 50's mixtape launched him to, Like nobody else, because Wayne already had hits before he started doing mixtapes.
Right.
Like 50 got shot. He was an underground rapper. He had like one song, How to Rob, that kind of went over.
Mm-hmm.
But he literally came back, took the mixtapes, and generated energy that created like the biggest bidding war in hip hop history.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then launched into a diamond album, like from mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got 50, and one on top of the fact that the structure, he changed the structure.
All right, so really quick, just give me your 4 that you will put on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, me personally, I mean, I'm New York biased, man.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
It's gonna be 50. It's gonna be Fab. It's gonna be Wayne. And then the mixtapes, 50, Fab, Wayne. Oh man, you're not gonna like this one.
Do it.
I'm gonna go Jermaine Cole.
Okay, cool. That's what you got.
Cole did
That's
the same
fine.
thing.
That's fine. I mean, cool. That's your Mount Rushmore. It's yours.
Off of mixtape.
All right, that's your Mount Rushmore. It's completely fine. Reg?
I'll go 50. I'll go 50. I'll go Fab. I'll go 55. I'll put Wayne on there. And I'll put Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll put 50, I'll put Wayne, I'll put Future, and I'll put Gucci Mane. Like, I'm okay with that, right? Like, saying that. And sometimes, like, I always want to mention Cameron because he was doing it early on, but, like, as we know, Cameron gets bored really quickly and, like, doesn't, like, give, like, his all. So we know that Cameron knows that he's extraordinarily talented, so he kind of, like, mails it in.
Yeah.
So that's always, like, my problem with Cam. But let's move along. Let's talk about Drake's Nokia video and Kendrick's Luther video. Both of them dropped weeks apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drake was basically on the horizon. I mean, we thought that Nokia was going to be number 1, right? But now that Kendrick and SZA dropped the Luther video, Luther's probably going to stay at number 1, right? We looking at the visuals, and a lot of people are like picking things out, like saying like, "Oh, this is a subliminal. This is a shot. Why is he using Drake's this woman that has directed videos for Drake multiple times and his Luther video?" I just think certain shit just be a coincidence.
I think so too.
Like, isn't it interesting how like we can like pick apart and like find all of these things and be like, "Oh man, they throwing shots again.
Yeah.
They're doing this," and then like come to find out like it was nothing like that. Like, it just so happened like visually. I fuck with Kendrick, but I don't think Kendrick like really like visually goes in with that much detail to do things. I think that Kendrick, like, he is a very smart person, intelligent person when it comes to like his music. But I think the visually thing, I think he lets his team do it and then he signs off on shit. I think we forget Kendrick is a hood nigga from Compton, regardless of anything. So I don't think that he cares that much as people say. My personal opinion.
Well, I do believe he really does hate that nigga. So I wouldn't put it past him to think that out. I don't think it's very coincidental that, you know, Karina Evans has done at least 4 interviews 4 music videos for Drake. So it's
the
like
biggest ones too.
Yeah, you could see why there would be some type of parallels where people would look into it. It's kind of just there to look into, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he picked her solely because she worked with Drake. Maybe he really genuinely likes the way she directs shit because she's a great director. I've liked some of her shit. I think that is kind of just the add-on that he wants people to lean into. I think it gets people talking, you know. When it comes to the videos, I've always been disappointed with the Nokia video from when it first dropped. I just think it's boring. Nobody looked like they having fun.
So do you think that he's trying to basically recreate the moment that he did with Hotline Bling with Nokia video?
No, because Hotline Bling, he leaned into making it like memes. There's no like meme-worthy moments from the Nokia video.
It's like real colorful.
Yeah.
It matched the energy.
This doesn't match the energy. It's boring. He don't even look like he having fun. The dancers don't look like they having fun. I don't know if that's some type of something that we supposed to look into, but it just doesn't look fun.
It felt like a commercial to me.
Yeah.
Right?
I see that.
Like Mos Def said.
Oh, Most Def.
So many SKUs.
Yeah, so many SKUs. Right?
Well, I definitely feel like, first of all, what you were talking about with Kendrick, I definitely feel like these things are intentional. I definitely think we drag it. We add, people add to it. But to think that this maniacal dude is not like being petty. Like he is. Like he's doing it intentionally to like dig at him. But sometimes, you know, we add layers to it. But yeah, I definitely believe that. And in the video, I agree with you guys. It's just like it doesn't fit the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I well, how do you feel about it?
I enjoy both the videos, but I definitely see what you're saying about the Drake video. It doesn't. It kind of looks uninspired. It's like he's doing it just because like it's like an obligation.
Yeah.
Like he would much rather be in Turks and Caicos smoking hookah.
Mm-hmm. I do think that I do think it's weird. I feel like there's some bots at play with this Kendrick thing, and it's annoying because I love the content. I love what he's putting out. I don't think they need to be hitting a button, quote unquote, in this way that they're doing.
That button that LA Reid say doesn't exist.
I just think there's certain things in his rollout that I've seen that don't look organic, and I hate that it appears that way to me. And I hate that it even is a thing because it gives the other people on the other side a reason to be like, see, look what they're doing.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel.
I hate that whole culture, by the way.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Drake Kendrick culture.
Yeah. But that's what
it's disgusting.
It's kind of similar if you remember back when Jay-Z and Nas like it didn't last long though, but like there was like a Jay-Z Nas culture.
Yeah,
and like and then
I was about to say this is magnetized.
So
yeah, social media.
And then the Biggie and Pac culture like that lasted for a little bit, but I definitely think that like Pac fans definitely overthrow Biggie fans. There's definitely way more Pac fans.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Definitely way more Pac fans. But moving along, Easter is on the horizon, guys.
Okay.
You know, so like, do you guys got Easter plans? You know, you guys gonna go to the car show? You guys gonna get on your best outfits, get your Vances and Pradas out?
Nah.
Okay.
You doing anything?
I'm not sure yet.
I don't have anything lined up at all.
So, obviously, you know, I'm a new dad, so, you know, we don't want my baby to like be like, we don't want bad shit to happen to him. So yeah, we gotta go to church, you know.
Yeah.
We gotta do all that. We have two options, because we have Catholic ties and we have like Christian ties and everything. So like we're debating on what church we'll go to Sunday morning. But we're taking Maverick to get his Easter pictures taken on Wednesday at JCPenney by your store.
Oh, nice.
Classic.
Okay.
I took him to, it's funny because like I thought I did my job. I took him to Macy's last week and met the Easter Bunny. And I was like, look, man. She was like, I have an outfit for him, and his grandma sent an outfit for him, and such and such got an outfit for him. He has 3 outfits that he needs to be seen in for Easter. And I'm like, oh, I thought just the Easter money was enough. So we going to JCPenney's on Wednesday.
And he didn't cry in that picture.
Yeah, he just wasn't fucking with the photographer. Yeah, he just didn't smile. But yeah, you know, so like, all right, you guys, you know, y'all not gonna watch the 10 Commandments, none of that? I'm just asking.
I think I've been thinking about how I need to restructure and include those things into my life again.
Yeah, like I mean, like it's not is I think that so for me personally growing up, I won't say that I grew up in the church, but I did go to church a lot with my grandparents. And like I definitely had more fun before church started versus it being in church. I had fun like going to Sunday school and like being around other kids, and then them kind of like breaking down biblical things to me in the Bible to make it make sense in layman's terms.
Yeah.
That was like fun socializing, but then like I would go to church and just sit there and I'll be like, yo, when is this gonna be over?
So
I would just say I had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I guess for me growing up, it's been like I kind of rebelled at some point because I went to Catholic school as a kid. I went to Bible study. My life was structured around church. Like church was a must. So then I grew up and it's like,
when you had to go no more, you was like, it's a wrap.
I was like, nah, you know. But I have been thinking about like what my outlook will be like as an adult with church back in my life, you know.
It's something to definitely like think about. And last but not least, sir, tell us how Dreamville Fest was. You went, like, you know, you were in attendance. You made sure you was there. Tell us how good it was or how bad it was.
Dreamville Fest, this is my first time. And it was awesome, man. It was awesome.
You went to, so wait, what other, did you go to something in the water? What
Only other thing I ever been to was South by Southwest.
Really?
Yeah, I never.
I don't know why I feel like you've been.
Nah, South by Southwest and Dreamville. That's it.
Really?
It was awesome though, man. Wale got the slaps. You know, it's just a reminder of that. He performed his new song and nobody knew it. I felt like I was the only person that knew the new song. That was interesting because I like the song.
Right, yeah, that's a good song.
But a lot of people didn't know the song. But yeah, he performed all the hits. JID tore his set down. He actually had like this van riding around. And if you go up to the van or whatever, they'll play you like his 2 new singles that's coming out.
No, that's good marketing.
And it was the Metro Boomin songs. Fire.
I did see those popping up.
Yeah, one of them was called Work, and that's the one I heard. And he performed it. It was fire. Ludacris, crazy. People forget how many joints Luda got, man. Cole got to perform with Erykah Badu for the first time. So that was like a one of a kind situation.
She was stacked.
She was going crazy. She did a great job. I watched her individual set as well. And she's a special individual. She's going to give you a unique performance. It's not going to sound like the album, but
I enjoy watching her live.
Yeah.
How was 21?
Oh, 21 was 21, man. He's not
good
Yeah,
live.
that's why I was curious because I saw his name big on the flyer and I was like, all right, how long was
21 Savage not like live, like
his set? I don't remember, maybe a half an hour. I think everybody kind of had a half an hour.
Yeah, the
Wayne
music
and the Hot Boys. Woo.
That was good.
Yeah, Wayne did an amazing job, man. Wayne did an amazing
really?
job. He really did.
Tell Danny
it's online.
Tell Danny that.
No. I don't know that he normally does a good job, but this time he did. I think he's on a mission though.
Yeah.
I think he's on a mission. He heard the talk. And I think this year he's coming.
He's still not getting it. He's not gonna get that head nigga down.
I saw him last year at what was that, Hip Hop 50 at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. He killed it then. Yeah. He did from the times that I've seen Wayne, he's been good as well.
Yeah,
I think for Wayne, I think it depends on the circumstances of like what's going on, how much he cares.
On the level of the show too.
I feel like somebody in his camp has to be like, Wayne, no lean today. Like I feel like they have to like really like say that to him. And they be like, Wayne, no lean today. Here's your iPod with the songs that you'll be performing. And like then they just tell him that and then he locks in. And then that's that. And then otherwise they'd be like, it's not that big of a deal. I feel like Wayne just gets fucking blasted.
I think it does.
And goes on stage.
The level of what kind of show.
Oh, and Tim's.
You enjoyed Tim's?
Tim's show was phenomenal.
Shout out to Tim's. Okay,
Tim's
cool.
was amazing.
All right. And the last thing I'll say is that, WrestleMania will be out after we put this out, but I'm very excited for WrestleMania 41. It's in Las Vegas. As you guys know, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I'm very excited for the triple threat main event match between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. I'm hoping that CM Punk wins. He is my guy. He is the guy who I'm like rolling with right now. I love Roman Reigns too, but CM Punk is like somebody that I like from like when I was younger. So I roll with him. You know, so fuck Seth Rollins. I can't stand him. I think he's a bitch ass nigga.
Any predictions for like
any
the show in general, not just that?
I think Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to make an appearance. He's retired, but I think that he's probably going to come out and like give us some fan service. You know, come out, stun people, drink some beer. You know, what? You know, just come out and do that stuff. Really excited for that. Then also there's another triple threat match between Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. Mm-hmm. The boys really like the three of these women. Yeah. You know, they're very athletic, well built women. And yeah, it's going to be a slobber knocker. Bianca Belair is undefeated at WrestleMania. She also has a streak of being in a championship match every single appearance that she made in WrestleMania. That's like history because she's a black woman and like she's doing like these amazing things. I think that she's going to become a bad guy after this WrestleMania though. Like her promos and a lot of things she talks about is just getting darker and darker. She's starting to wear darker clothes. So there's things that like you pay attention to and you see it when it's happening.
What's going on with The Rock and Cena right now?
So The Rock hasn't been back since they beat the dog shit out of Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. John Cena has been coming back and just like cutting promos and like really shitting on Cody. But apparently like Cody's been like fighting back for his life. But what I really hope happens is I hope that John Cena wins and knocks the blonde out of Cody Rhodes' hair, and that he takes the fucking belt and retires with it. I hope he does it. I hope John Cena wins and does everything that he said he was going to do, because it's just something I didn't expect. John Cena is the reason why I stopped watching wrestling and started saying that wrestling was whack, and then still secretly like watching to check it out. But I was so upset that he was basically 50 Cent in cosplay. He was basically Mark Wahlberg pretending to be 50 Cent. Like, that's what he was doing during his career, and I just couldn't fucking stand it. I was so mad at John Cena for doing that shit. I was like, yo, this is crazy. He's a fucking wigger. Like, we have black wrestlers that could pretend to be 50 Cent. Why don't you just get a black guy to pretend to be 50 Cent if you're going to do that? But they made John Cena. Like, John Cena had the chain gang. He had the spinning belt. Remember all that shit?
Yeah.
Like,
but I'll give him this though. He
stole the Yayo, you can't see me
he
shit.
always
like,
gave credit to Tony Yayo on like late night and everything.
And they don't give a fuck about that. They be like, yeah, Tony Yayo, it's yours.
Yeah.
They don't care.
But he says it.
He
That's
says
important.
it. That's all right.
That's
That's true. But yes, I'm very excited for WrestleMania weekend. It's a WrestleMania weekend is a whole, it's a whole weekend now. It's 2 days. Me and Sarah went last year, and we really enjoyed ourselves in Philly. Obviously, this year we can't go because we got a newborn at home.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for this, and I can't wait for the pre-sale tickets to go on sale for SummerSlam, because that's going to be at MetLife Stadium, and we are going to SummerSlam.
Oh yeah,
in Jersey. So that's really
MetLife. And we'll get out of this, but I know Kendrick's coming up at MetLife.
Oh yeah, we going.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We going, Daddy-O.
You going?
Chrissy, I know you going. I know you getting tickets.
Think so.
You going Friday, Chrissy? Yeah, we'll be in there.
We'll be in there like swimwear.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great show. I can't wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So
you want to get into this album review? Or what else you had?
No, that's it. That's it. Like, let's get into it. Let's see. Let me see where I got it at. I got everything written. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Sounds good to me. So the album that we're getting into today, we're kind of transitioning out of the rap album reviews, where this is like our quote unquote R&B unit. So we're doing a sharp pivot today, digging into this album. This album came out in 1999 from this artist that we know from a group setting, right? This was his first solo album, released in 99. The album went 5 times platinum. A lot of people sleep on that. And I'm talking about Sisqó. His debut album, Unleash the Dragon, came out. It was recorded during the hiatus that Dru Hill had. And it was led by the singles Got to Get It, Incomplete, and of course the Thong Song. He talked about the apprehension of going solo because he just wasn't used to that dynamic for himself. I think Woody was the first one that like kicked it off. And
yeah, but he just wanted to go back to the church.
Oh, Woody?
Yeah, Woody found religion.
So did you know about how Woody even said that he was done?
I watched it, and they was on the radio together.
They were on the radio, but from Sisqó's account of it, the first time that he said it was when they were on the set of the Wild Wild West video. And when you watch the Wild Wild West video, the video starts off with all the members, and midway through the video, you only see 3 of the members. He left. Walked off. Yeah, he left. And that's like when they went public with the fact that like, yeah, no, it's done.
I bet you like what happened was he found out Stevie Wonder could see him, was just like, fuck this shit. Like,
yeah. And then from there, it kind of they all just felt uneasy with moving ahead without Woody. And so they went on hiatus. And then from what I saw, Sisqó was like, all right, well, shit, while we're on hiatus, like let's just pick up steam. Like he approached the label and was like, what do y'all think of me doing a solo album? And they just were so against it. And he was like, well, Will Smith already kind of introduced me to the world because he says my name on this song. Let's just run with it. And so he invested his money into doing it himself and then presenting it to them. Like, yo, I have an album.
Right.
And that's the only way they move forward.
Yeah. And he got a label imprint, Dragon Records.
Yeah.
He had a female R&B group. Like, and I don't know where those girls are at now, but
Love Her is their name.
Yeah. So
that's funny. Based off what we were just talking about off mic with Jermaine Dupri, where you were saying Sisqó came to the studio to record In My Band remix, and he said Jermaine Dupri asked him, "Where's the group?" And he said, "I don't need them niggas." And that was way before that.
Yeah, I mean, he probably didn't, but
yeah.
So in '99, right, that was like 99 was on the heels of 98, which was the most, some people say was the most important year in music, period. Like that was the most money the music industry made. The golden time, right? So after that, right, we have artists like, obviously you have Usher who's on the horizon. You have R. Kelly who's coming up, right? You have Genuine, you have Tyrese, you have Joe, you have Jagged Edge, Darnell Jones, Destiny's Child, TLC, Brandy, Monica, right? All of these like artists coming up like on the horizon and like really like pushing like what's going on. And like Sisqó was kind of like, he kind of like was like a common best of both worlds, because he crossed over and he can go on TRL and like be popular. Like they even like made him like a host on like the summer, like the spring break show and everything like that, right? So like Sisqó was making this black ass music, but like he was appealing to like white kids because like he just looked like a superstar. Like he looked like the millennium was coming, because you know he changed his hair from blonde to platinum, and it looked like what we were going into, because the millennium, so everything was like silver and like bright and stuff like that, right? So I just say all that to say that like for him, like even like what he did at Def Jam, like Def Jam was kind of like going through a transition, because like there was like a bunch of like rappers that were like prominent at that time, and like I think like for R&B wise, like they had Montel Jordan, Case, and Kelly Price, but like they didn't have like an R&B superstar. So like Sisqó kind of like was able to like step in and like demand like what he wanted. Like Regg said, like he funded his own project, but then like when they got it, they were like, holy shit, what the hell do we have here? So then like the label was able to get behind him, and I think that's why like the sound and like the videos and the visuals was so big. And like that's why he was able to like really like take it there. Like I think Sisqó probably studied like a lot of frontmen. Like he reminds me of so there's a rock band called Van Halen, and they have a lead guy named David Lee Roth, and that's who Sisqó reminds me, as far as like a frontman and like a solo artist. He reminds me of David Lee Roth. Like they're very like flamboyant, like they wear like big colors and shit like that. They're athletic. Like David Lee Roth does the kicks and the flips and all of that shit too. You know, so I think like as far as like a front man, like Sisqó is like up there. Like he's like one of like the best, not just in R&B, but like as far as like being in a band. Like I think the best front man of all time is Michael Jackson of the Jackson 5. But I think that Sisqó, as far as like a front man, like he kind of like embodies it. Like he's a throwback to that. So, you know.
Yeah.
Just want to speak my piece on that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, before I start shitting on the album, I wanted to make sure I gave that man his flowers.
Start with love.
All right. So, like I mentioned, this album came out in 99. Off the tail end of what Taurian mentioned is one of the bigger years for music, like all music, all genres. So like we're ushering into the 2000s, and this comes out. Do y'all remember around the time frame that this came out? Like, what do you think? What did you think of this time frame for Sisqó?
What did I think of this time frame? This time frame, you mean like the impact of the album? It was huge, man. I remember dominating 106 in Park, and it's on Rap City, it's on TRL, all of the pop charts. It was just at the top of the charts. And as at my age group, man, I probably in high school or maybe junior high school when this dropped, and man, these hits and singles were resonating tremendously with my age.
Were the white girls at your school pulling their thongs all the way up in the back?
Yes.
Yeah,
they were
doing that too.
Yeah.
White girls in my school. We went to school with white people.
We went to school with white people.
Yeah, so.
But not real talk. Yeah,
them white girls were letting that thong show, boy. I was like wearing low rise jeans and shit. I was like, yo, her crack is out. Like I didn't catch it at first. I was like, yo, what the fuck? and then like you know, it started like catching on. But like,
yeah, this album definitely resonated and it made a huge impact. That 5 million that you mentioned, I definitely felt it.
Yeah.
It felt big. Like it felt like
pause.
5 million. Pause. Hey, yo.
Damn, yo. Whoa.
My bad.
Whoa. But something else that's funny. I remember like when the first time they would told me about the song, like they kept like girls kept saying the thong. I was like, why you keep saying that? And I'm like, Sisqó has a new song out, and I was like, I had to like find somebody like, yo, can I listen to your CD player so I can hear the thong song? And like I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Like he can't do this. He can't talk about this.
Yeah.
he's going. What is he? His career's over. That's what I thought. I was like, nobody's ever made a song about a woman's underwear. This is crazy.
How the times have changed.
Damn, right?
That's like PG to me.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this dude is a freak ball.
Very
You're a freak ball.
Really uncharted territory. Like, like nobody was doing stuff like that at the time. The instrumentation on it was like unheard of. And that's just the thong song in general. But the album opens with Unleash the Dragon, right? Which also got me curious at the time when I was revisiting this, like, yo, what was Dru Hill's obsession with dragons?
Isn't it because where the part of Baltimore where they're from, isn't there like a dragon park or some shit like that?
So when I tried to look further into it, it looked like when they were doing one of their first photo shoots, it was in Japan.
Ah, okay.
And they kind of had the imagery around them and they ran with it. Mm-hmm. And so when they ran with that, they were like, well, it could be kind of like our symbol that you see and you kind of group it with us when you see it. Okay. And then when Sisqó went solo, he just kept it going because he knew that people recognized him for that. And then he turned the dragon symbol that they used to the side. And when he did that, he coincidentally realized that it made an S, that it formed an S. So he just ran with it and kind of OD'd with it.
I think it belongs. So I have something to say, right? So the song Unleash the Dragon, right? It features Beanie Sigel. Mm-hmm. I think he missed the opportunity to get a Wu-Tang Clan member on to open the song with him. That might have gave a fuck more about the song. Beanie Sigel mailed this in. Like, obviously, I get it. Beanie Sigel signed to Def Jam. They were trying to push him. Mm-hmm. Why ain't try to reach out to Method Man? He signed to Def Jam. Yeah. Like, you should have just got somebody that's more affiliated. Like, I guess, like, would have been able to, like, meet on some kind of level because obviously, like, Sisqó's into martial arts. So maybe I'm thinking too deep into it. I just feel like Beanie Sigel didn't give a fuck about what this song. I don't even think he's actually, the subject matter, what he's rapping about has anything to do with Sisqó's song.
No, but I love, in that regard, I love Beanie Siegel's verse on Dance With Me. Because it's not even on 112's Dance With Me. Because that nigga, he threatening to shoot the spot up if you don't dance.
Yeah.
So it's like,
whoa, at least, but I'm just saying, at least he was on topic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I just wanted that man to just talk about unleashing the dragon. Like, you know, so the Unleash, did you ever see the unreleased video of Unleash the Dragon?
I watched the 7, maybe 8-minute cut of it. Fairly.
Yeah, and like Sisqó's arguing with like the giant dragon and shit, the CGI
he's like,
dragon.
Come on.
Yeah.
You scaring people and stuff?
Yeah.
And he does like a cartwheel.
Yeah. This is how you know like Sisqó was just on fire because they did that bullshit.
They just let him do that shit. Yeah. There was a dragon, there was a helicopter, Tatiana Ali's in it. Wow. She's like, help, because under the dragon, I'm like, yo, what is going on? It was
should have never gave niggas money.
Really, they let him get that off.
Yeah, let him get that off.
Shit, Diddy around this time frame did that video with Godzilla?
Yeah, with Jimmy Page.
Yeah, people would
come with me. Shit. Yeah, he did come with me over.
Yeah, it was around this time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Unleash the Dragon. I like the opening. I remember playing this album when I had a copy of it on my Dreamcast. Because Dreamcast could play albums CDs, and shit. Play CDs.
Damn, you was really locked in.
Yeah, man, I fucked with this.
I'm like, yeah. We had options. Mm-hmm. We had other albums that like,
and I played those too.
All right, cool. I'm just saying, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't, like running to, I don't know. Like I fucked with Sisqó when Sisqó came on TV, but like I wasn't listening to Sisqó. Like
yeah, man, I was like,
okay.
No, I was tapped in with this album the same way, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
okay. All right. So next up is Got to Get It.
Mm-hmm.
That was wrapped up back of your neck.
Yeah.
Man, you understand me.
It was a bad choice for a first single.
Yeah.
I think Thong Song should have been the first single.
They probably were scared.
But yeah, probably.
Scared.
But what was crazy is they went with Got to Get It, but DJs that heard the album kept playing Thong Song.
Right.
To the point where it forced their hand to push it as a single.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. But Got to Get It is like a through and through departure from a Dru Hill. Like it's a good like step away from Dru Hill, in my opinion.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. It's also the song to me that last the test of time the most. I mean, I go back to personally the most.
Over Incomplete?
From this, yes. I don't listen to that much. I gotta be in like a specific mood to listen to Incomplete.
Damn, so you think you the prize?
You gotta be you gotta be in a specific mood for ballads, no matter how good they are. Like ballads are like
I can listen to Incomplete what? I was thinking the shit out of some Incomplete.
Incomplete is amazing. Got to Get It is good. You know, Problematic opening the side. It's a good song.
Cause he little. I think that's why he said that. Cause he's small.
Yeah, probably to make you listen to me.
Yeah, he little.
Napoleon Complex.
Okay. So obviously with Incomplete, like I say Incomplete is like a masterclass of a ballad for a song. Like it's just prime time. Like when I was in school, like so I went to school and I went to 9th and 10th grade in school in Long Island, Longwood High School, and then I went to Atlanta to Southside High School. So I went from like one of like the most whitest gentrified areas to like one of the most blackest hood areas to go to school, right? And one thing was constant. Niggas that walk around the hallway singing to girls that can just dance and shit like that. Like, so.
Oh, this was their time.
Yeah, this was their time. Like talent shows, these niggas would just go crazy. Like, this is how you be like, yo, how does nigga get that girl? Yo, he can sing. Like, and I think that like, you know, like dudes, like people like that, like, they just have that ability, and I think that Sisqó falls in that place where like he could just, you might look at him and be like, yo, this dude's a little weird, but like, you know, he can sing, like he you know, he's sensual, so you know, and I think that just happens, like he just a lot of energy.
And Incomplete was, did y'all know it was written by Montel Jordan?
I did not
know that. Nice fun fact, Reg. Thank you for that.
Montel.
It was written by Montel Jordan, and he didn't like it at first. Sisqó didn't like the song. And he said now he likes it, but back then he was like, yo, it's a ballad, but it sounds like a Dru Hill song.
He was really trying not to fuck with them.
He was like crazy. Everything that I was doing, like Thong Song, Got to Get It, those don't sound like Dru Hill records. So he wanted to keep doing that, but they pushed Incomplete, and he was like, well, it's a great song, but I just didn't. You know?
I could see that though, based off the information that we have in hindsight, like I think he was trying to throw his name in the hat, like with Usher and these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wanted to establish himself as a solo artist.
And Incomplete does sound like it could be on the same album as Beauty.
Yep,
or like,
exactly.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely has the energy of Beauty.
Yeah. But elsewhere, like outside of the singles that we know from this album, there are some other like ballads on here.
Like what?
Like so is Love Enough is one that stood out to me. That comes right after Got to Get It.
Okay.
And speaking of, it kind of sounds like a Dru Hill type record. But also there's some homage that he pays to Jodeci on here, because like Jodeci is one of his biggest influences.
Absolutely, yeah.
He reminds me of Casey.
Yeah, that's one of his biggest influences. And he talked about that a lot. And it kind of it made me think too about like artists with signature sounds. Like you see how you just did the KC one, and Sisqó has his it's just the and that's not around. That's not around no more. Like R&B artists that have a signature, like
Drake's fault.
Yeah, you know,
it's Drake's fault.
That's not really around no more. I feel like Sisqó was like the last of that.
I would have to think about that.
I thought about it a lot. I was like, I don't know who has, you know.
I feel like
R. Kelly has
so many. SZA might have one
because so many people made fun of it. I think that it became a thing where people stopped wanting to like kind of do it. But I mean, I'm pretty sure like there's some R&B artists that still do it. We're just not that tapped into them. Like it has to be, because like there's still some people that are still very influenced by those kind of artists. So
facts, yeah.
I'm pretty sure like if we like really try to search it, we can find.
Because I was trying to think of it, and I'm like, yo, I don't know if there's an R&B act that has that anymore. Like Slim had one from 112. Yeah,
I think so. I don't know. Maybe we should try to discover that dude. Like, yo, man, what's your thing? What's your
whole thing?
Yeah. All right. So I want to talk about Enchantment Passing Through.
I don't like that song.
Like, that song sounds like a fucking like a terrible Disney song.
Yeah. I think that one's credited as a Dru Hill song.
That's fine, but it's on his album.
Yeah, it's the lead. So like the last 3 songs on the album are Dru Hill songs. They're all to usher into Through World Order.
Right.
That's why, like, for me, technically, I don't count those songs. This album really stops at number 10 for me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. How convenient.
I mean, yeah.
I was really a fan of You Are Everything remix too at the time. I like Ja Rule's
I
verse.
did like that song too, yeah.
And I
But
like Nokio's verse.
that's a Drew Hill song.
That's a Drew Hill
Yeah.
remix. Yeah. But it was a different beat though.
Yeah, facts. So yeah, what else on here? Oh, So Sexual, number 7, I believe that is. He wrote that one with Babyface.
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He wrote that one with Babyface, and the blend of it is great between, because Babyface he's not like a singer that gets into that type of bag.
Yeah.
Of like overly sexual or whatever. He keeps it clean for the most part.
He uses a lot of innuendo.
Yeah. Which is what I like about his
bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
Which is what I like about his writing. But like on this, you know, you could tell the parts that he kind of just like lent his pen to, and they vibe off each other really well. I think it's one of the strongest songs on this album.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good bedroom banger.
I think, and I think a lot of the songs on here are just great standalone ballads.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this album suffers for not the content on it, but just the time frame that it came out. You know, even though he was a big artist, and the Thong song is bigger than this whole album. But
yes, very much so.
Yeah. But on the album itself, there's like some really just flawless records on here that I think still hold up. And I think people forget, you know, it is a forgotten gem in my opinion, but the shit went 5 times platinum.
Yeah, but the Thong song carried it to 5 times platinum.
Yeah, it was a strong single.
Yeah, single was ridiculous. And like you guys were saying about him being like the flagship R&B artist on Def Jam, you know, that had something to do with it. That was a machine at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's my piece with it. And I think everything kind of flows, the way that everything flows on here is really seamless. I think structurally from 1 to 10, they all flow into each other.
Okay. Well, for me, obviously, you know, Thong Song, Incomplete, Got to Get It are the album standouts. Those are probably the only songs that I really go back to, but it's a good album. Like, I don't think that it's a bad album, but I am ready for my verdict.
Let's get it. Let's start with you, Quincy.
0 out of 5 waffles. What you got for this album?
4.
A 4?
4 out of 5.
Why not 5 out of 5? Like, and make it a classic?
Because in discussing it, in fleshing out all the songs, I definitely think it's lacking just a little bit, but it's still like a really solid listen. And I can go back and listen to at least 5 or 6 songs out of the 10 you mentioned. So to me, it's not quite a classic, but like extremely, extremely dope album.
I'm glad you said that, Quincy. I
came around, brother.
I give it 3.5 out of 5 waffles. It's not a classic, but it's a solid R&B album, and it's a good, like the songs on there that are really, really good are really good. But I think that it just doesn't stand up. There's other projects that came out that year in '99 where I think that I can say I prefer more. Like who? So let's see. Joe had an album come out that year that I prefer over that one. Genuine had an album come out that year that I prefer over it.
100% Genuine is really good.
Right. And then there's and then Silk. I like Silk's album that came out that year. So it's just like, you know, like I can think about other albums where I like prefer it, but it's like, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that the album doesn't suck by any means, but I'm just like, all right, it's not an album that, like, you know, when somebody's talking like, oh man, I was listening to Unleash the Dragon, it really inspired me to make this project. I don't think that album inspired anybody. I just think it was a good period in time. Cool album. Sisqó really had his time period, and that's that. Like, he's part of like a very legendary group, and you know, this thing, and he has a look that will forever be significant and important to him. Nobody else looks like him. He stands out like one of the best frontmen. I say, like, if I had to like talk about frontmen, he's definitely in the top 10. I won't go too far and say top 5 because then people start critiquing who I'm talking about and everything like that. But like he's up there with like, you know, Freddie Mercury. He's up there with Michael Jackson. He's up there with who did I just say? David Lee Roth. Like as far as like frontmen, like he carries a stage presence and there's things that he can do, and that's where I give Sisqó most of his credit live. So with that being said, Regg, let's hear your verdict, player.
It's a classic R&B album.
So it's 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, he got to stand on it now. So now he's saying that he got to.
I mean, yeah, like I knew that going into this.
Okay,
that's what I would say. You know,
5 out of 5, classic.
Okay. A good amount. I think the writing is really good. I think there's some underrated love ballads on here. I think he set out and proved himself as a standalone artist. And you know, granted, his second album wasn't very good. I think this is where his solo career ended as far as like the impact. But I think as a frontman, like you said, he stood the test of time. And then for this album, he proved himself as a standalone. Outside of just the main single or the monstrous single that Thong Song was, you know, he has some love ballads on here that really showcase how much of a powerhouse he is vocally. And I think it definitely deserves the time and recognition that it doesn't get.
Okay, yeah, I think it deserves time and recognition too. I guess, you know, I will agree to disagree. Regg, you absolutely think that this R&B album is a classic, but I will keep this tallied in my head for other albums that like when we do R&B projects to gauge how you gauge R&B classics, because it's different from hip hop classics. But I'm just because like I'll give you an example. When I think of classic albums, there's certain albums that I have that like are like the bar, and I think that the difference between you and I is that sometimes like I say, well, does this album belong in the same class as that? So like say Songs in the Key of Life. I think Songs in the Key of Life is like a perfect album. And it's an R&B album that I feel like no matter what, when you put that album out, no matter what time frame, someone's going to listen to the album and be like, this is perfection. This is like the bar. I would not say that Unleash the Dragon belongs in the same room as Songs in the Key of Life, so that's why I can't call it a classic.
There's tiers of classics, though.
I was gonna say so. Listen,
what do you mean? There's tiers of classics. This is my thing. When you say like, no, it's not tiers of classic. There's a classic tier. There's a classic tier, and then there's a tier under it, and that's okay. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like people just want to say classic because like they really really like a project, and it's just like, yo, just be honest and say like, yo, it's not like the best thing smoking. That's just like okay. In sports, right? There's a room that Michael Jordan belongs in, right? But Carmelo Anthony don't belong in that same room as Michael Jordan. But Carmelo Anthony was a really good ball player.
Does Dwayne Wade?
Does Dwayne Wade belong in the same room as Michael Jordan?
Right.
No.
But exactly, he had 3 chips.
Who's in that room?
Huh?
Who's in that room?
In that room? No, it's Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like those kind of people. I think I don't put Shaq in that room, but I will put Kobe in that room. He has 5 and he's won multiple championships at different time periods. Like
okay. So then I was understanding the analogy until you said that.
So I said what?
Until you said like
Kobe
is not in that room, but he's like
no, I said Kobe's in that room.
So then who else is as great that's not in that room? You said
you didn't say LeBron.
Oh, LeBron goes in that room.
Wade, in that room. I said Wade is not.
Yeah, I said Wade is not in that room.
So then the only reason why I wouldn't put this in the same room as Songs in the Key of Life is just that like outside of them being classics, I don't think they're in that same type of genre of what they visit and explore.
But see that's what I'm just saying is like a classic.
What you said was like because when you say Mike and you say Kobe, you can say that makes sense to me because they, you know, Kobe's game derives from Mike's
okay,
game.
so Mike and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, do they belong in the same room?
You put them in the same room.
Yeah, I put Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the same room.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a 7-foot center that used a fucking hook shot to revolutionize basketball, and he played slow as hell half court. Like he didn't do anything revolutionary. Like when he played, and he just and he has more accolades than Mike. Right. So they have 2 different games, right? But they both belong in the same room because of like how like they're respected in their respected times. What I'm just saying is just that like I don't think anybody's gonna like come out and talk about Sisqó the way that they would talk about like a Usher. and I don't think nobody's going to talk about his project the way that they would talk about a Confessions
but they were
a Channel Orange. Nobody was doing that, right?
They were talking 8701 and Sisqó around that time frame, that era. They were talking about Sisqó
because Sisqó started that conversation.
But it was Sisqó. Regardless of who started it, they were talking about them
because Sisqó wanted that smoke. But then Confessions came out, crickets.
Okay, so then that's when he separated himself. But those three, there was Sisqó, Genuine, and Usher that people was talking about because they were all.
So does Genuine have a classic?
Performing. A lot of people would say no, but I think he does.
Okay, I feel like you just blanket statement. I feel like your standards for classic are like a lot lower than mine. So and I'm not saying that like I don't want you to think I'm saying like trying to like play you. I'm just saying like. You're more loose. Let me say low. Let me reword that. You're more loose with how you define a classic, and I'm more like strict.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure I said because sometimes people are like, "Ooh," you said no. I'm trying to say it respectfully. You're more loose with what you call a classic, and I'm more strict and like kind of like tight, like because I'm just like, yo, this is like a special. It's kind of like getting into like the fucking Hall of Fame and the Baseball Hall of Fame. Like there's some people who have certain stats, and you're just like, I can't believe he's not in there, but it's hard. It should be hard to get in.
But then there's first ballot Hall of Famers, and then there's second and third ballot Hall of Famers.
That's true too.
I feel like that's a better analogy for this because what I was saying about tiers, like I think that Songs in the Key of Life is like in a different stratosphere than some of the other classic that you probably would even acknowledge as a classic. Like even like some of Mary J. Blige classics.
They're not sitting at the same table.
They're not.
I just don't think it has to be called a classic. It could just be called a great album.
But there's different levels of artistry, right? Different levels. So it's like I'm okay with people categorizing classics in a different way with that in mind. Because there's different levels.
I just think
you could say D'Angelo, you could say Voodoo is in that space with Songs in the Key of Life because they both explore instrumentation in the same creative way. They both they play instrumentation into their album in very specific ways.
I guess we just look at it differently in this fact that like when I just hear class, I'm like, it's a class. I'm not trying to say like, oh, these albums have to have the same message and and be presented the same way to be compared to the same thing and be compared as far as like, is it a classic or not? My thing is like, hey, are these really like great albums that fall into the lines of like what I would think is a classic, like cultural impact, the writing, the production, like what it did at that time frame, can it be listened to later? Like I'm not saying like, oh, like these albums don't compare, so I wouldn't put them in the same room. The reason why I want to put them in the same room, like, are they just as great? Like Frank Ocean, Channel Orange, right? People consider that album a classic. I could say that Channel Orange and Confessions are not similar albums. Like they have different messages, right? But I'd say both of them are classics.
Mm-hmm.
And they belong in the same room because they're classics. But that's why I'm saying like, yeah, like that's why Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar can be in the same room because they're both GOAT NBA players and like they did what they had to do for their time. They were the best players of their time period.
Okay, so I'll ask you this and then we can wrap.
Okay.
What do you think do you have an underdog classic? Like a classic that not necessarily for just your taste, but you feel like doesn't get talked about enough, but should be held as a classic. When you bring it up, people are like, yeah.
Nothing comes to mind like off the top of my head because I think in the mindset of just because something's underrated and I really like it doesn't mean that I think that it's a classic. That like that's what I'm saying. Like there's certain albums where it come to mind, I'm like, yeah, that's a classic. That's a one of those albums that where I'm like, yo, like, automatically, universally, people are going to agree with you. Like, I can say Unleash the Dragon is an underrated album, but not call it a classic. And just say, yo, it's underrated. It's not talked about enough. It was a good project when the time it came out. And he had his foot on niggas' necks. Like, people were talking about him, Genuine, and Usher. And then Usher let us all know, like, there's no comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it. That's where I take it. Like, I don't think that just because, like, there's a project where I'm like, that album was really good and it's underrated, it's a classic and like people don't even acknowledge it. Like nothing comes like fresh in my mind where I think about that. But okay, I'll throw one out there that like might be able to be talked about. Kaleidoscope Dream.
That's a classic to me.
Yeah, people talk about that.
People don't say it's a classic though. But I'm just saying though, I think it's a great album and I don't think that it gets enough recognition. I think that it should get more attention.
Okay.
So, like that. But like, yeah, like I don't I don't call a lot of projects classic. So like that's why for me, like I think you should be more stingy with it because it's to me classic is a special thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's wrap it up.
Well, we can wrap on that. Guys, listeners, viewers, let us know what you think if you visited this album recently or you plan to. Let us know what you think when you do. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
We're out of here.
Catch you guys next time.
Dun dun.